Welcome to How to Lose War of Dots, so you don't have to, where I host you to witness tragic outcomes from embarrassing gameplay, alongside what I hope to be helpful analysis on my poor performance. To pick up the pieces of my crushed ego, I'll present some highlights now and again, and feature our true war daughters, who are reoccurring and particularly challenging opponents, who have tested me and taught me valuable lessons along the way. I give these individuals credit for defeating me in new and innovative ways, whose strategies I have copied ever since. They'll get my premium green checkmark, and feel free to compliment the cartoon. I'll try to make more in the future. To be clear, I am here to trash my own performance. If I ever say anything bad about someone else's gameplay, hit the downvote. Not sure if YouTube still has a downvote? Anyway, share your distaste in one form or another. So without further ado, let's hang on for dear life. Here's the first map. What is going to typically happen is I'm going to show you the ideal plan I've laid out for these maps, as well as what I actually end up doing, which typically is not very ideal. Which is the point of the series, really, is to show all the errors I make along the way. For this map, my plan typically will be to push on A and seize B if the opportunity presents itself. What I'll do at first is rally most of my lights up north before committing them either to the southern front or striking back at his town across the river. So really, what you want to see is getting pressure on both towns to the south, where he's not able to regenerate from those towns. And what you'll see oftentimes is people in that blue peninsula there, oftentimes people abandon that one way or the other. So really, it's quite easy to get pressure onto both of those towns to keep him from regenerating from there. And you'll see how it plays out at first. I send a boat down south to do a quick sneaky snatch of his town. I don't do it very quickly, but it's you know, it's about the effort. Doesn't always work. So this is a player who's not going to be a pushover. And what I should be doing here is, again, you see that abandonment of that northern front. I should seize that peninsula, get pressure. I already have pressure on both his towns. I should just form a defensive position and really just beat him out on the trades, because he's not going to be regenerating from two towns. I can beat him fairly easily at this point if I just form a decent line. But you're going to see I've abandoned my northern front there, and I'm going to pay for it the rest of this match. You'll see I have plenty of opportunities to recover from this. I still have pressure west. He's not going to be regenerating from that town. But you won't see me rotating troops, which is going to be a very big problem. I'm slowly going to fade out. I need to compress my line. I need to flatten it out. I have plenty of troops in there, but in that horseshoe, they're not optimizing their spacing very well. And I'm continuing not to rotate those troops. I am getting more pressure on that town. Like, okay, I can still make this offensive work. I can still make everything pay off. But then I realize, oh my gosh, I gotta fall back. I suddenly realize I gotta fall back. But I do so very unstrategically. Like, I needed to not panic pulling back those, even though those units were in red. I still needed to hold them for a few more seconds to get my heavies and other units out. And you'll see I'm still not retreating properly. You're going to see a lot of this throughout all these videos. It's just, oh my gosh, panic. Let's get something together. And honestly, sometimes when I get in panic mode, you will see the true mastery of Phileas come out. This is not one of those times. You will see something neat in that I will actually redivert north and snatch one of his towns. My idea is I'll form a defensive line along the river, while I snatch his towns in the north. And it's a good idea. I don't know who said this first, but really, ideally, if you're losing on one front, why not open another front? You know, put pressure somewhere else. That's typically what you want to do. But as soon as I see that Blue's got, you know, fresh troops charging along the way, it was over. So anyway, that was the first battle. Let's move on to the next. This map has quickly become one of my favorites. I get to use a strategy that is very, very fun to use. This is my third edit through, you know, working out different software and trying to figure out how everything works. And I realized on the second edit through that this was against Lord Carson. And the only reason I was showing this video is because this recording is attached to the battle I'm about to show you next. So really, this was just a complete coincidence. I have Lord Carson right in this battle with me. So the strategy of this map is push A. Push A. You're going to see that I've got all of these different towns I can rotate troops from. And this is one of the few times where you can just keep on the offense, because you're going into a choke point. You're going to end up with more reserves as the battle goes on. So you're able to rotate many, many more troops. You have so many reserves that you're able to just keep on the offense and keep troops rotating in. And what if Blue pushes south? Well, you can send a crippled unit from the north. By the time they get to the south, they're a completely fresh unit just about. It's such a long journey across, so I never worry about the south or even the middle. Usually the status quo is maintained through both of those lines, really just going through a very methodical rotation through the north. You can just keep pushing the enemy all the way to their town, and the further you push in, the fewer new units you need to maintain pressure. Because of that choke point, you're able to effectively keep the pressure going throughout the offensive. This is one of my favorite maps to play on because of that. I don't know how good Lord Carson is at this point in our careers, I could say. I can't say I'm very good at the game yet at this point. You'll see that much more clearly in the next battle I'm going to show you. But for this was one that I mastered, I guess, this strategy fairly early on, so this was always a lot of fun for me to do. And I can't say I can't say that this strategy's ever actually failed. Sometimes there's little hiccups, but I've never had the northern offensive fail. Again, it's because I can send so many troops to the rear to regenerate. And this is one of the few scenarios where that is the good strategy. Usually if you're on that broad of an offense, you're going to lose. You're losing so many more troops. But if you have enough reserves, it is absolutely worth it to be on offense. Just to keep that pressure, keep pushing them towards that town. Because offense, you do inevitably push units back. It's just a matter of how long you can maintain that. And with this strategy, that is essential. I don't think there is actually a time limit for how long you can keep up the offense in the north, so long as all other fronts are holding. So you're going to see that it's not particularly, I could say this was a little challenging just to make sure that you're getting your troops fresh in. And once you're really close to the town, you will see sometimes that your supplies will be cut off up north. But as long as you can keep a reserve somewhat behind them. Again, you have so many troops rotating north and south that if anything does come up in the middle, you have 3 or 4 troops already in transit to another town, you can just divert them. So you really have quick reactions to anything that could happen. And I do end up seizing it. This next map is quickly becoming one of my favorites to play. On this, your strategy, you really want to take the southern town here, A. And to do that, typically I will take about 5 lights, rally them to the south. You have those 3 up there, as well as a few from the southwest. Really, you want to sell that you're attacking from the north. Even though, in my opinion, it's absolutely suicide. It would be absolutely suicide to attack that northern town. Even though it does seem possible at times. Even if you get close, you can get encircled so easily over that way that it's just not viable. It's too long of a stretch. However, in the south, there's that wood line there. It's actually very difficult for blue to get reinforcements down there, and sometimes the closest units are those 3 heavies down the south there. So if you can get ahead of them or slip past them, you can get a very good number of lights across the river and encircling A. In the meanwhile, it's a tough defense north, actually. So you want to get your heavies up on this rock here, and really that's preventing blue from essentially rushing your capital. Like, that's the center of your line. They stand there like a stone wall while your lights are covering them, making sure that blue doesn't flank around. Again, these woods can be your best friends or your worst enemies. I used to be terrible. I probably still am terrible fighting in woods. The more mobility I have, the happier I am. So in this battle, this was my first time on this map in this particular recording. Also my first time seeing Mr. Girth. I saw his tag, legend, so I thought, oh, this is a top 5 player. But my running strategy at the time was typically like, okay, if you don't have a plan, attack somewhere, do something, don't just stand around. So I'm like, oh, there's very thin units on his southern front, those 3 heavies. It almost looks like you could fit red units through there. So I'm like, I'm gonna rush south, press through, I'm going to take all his towns, and it is going to be an easy victory. So that was my thought at first, or my first idea in the first 5 seconds. I gave him that green check mark just for, may as well. That's an automatic green check mark for Mr. Girth. There's no arguing that one. And so now that I have an ideal plan for this map, when I see how I did this first time, I had a whole bunch of blues north. That confused me a second. So in reality, my dream, I'll just swarm them and charge through. In reality, it's not going to end up that way. So there's nothing spectacular about this. Could have even been Mr. Girth's first time on this map, because I feel like he didn't destroy me all that quickly. But he might just, be a smarter, more conservative player, which is probably the more ideal thing to be anyway. But yeah, I'm just watching this. It's painful to see how well. I do get a few encirclements here and there, but nothing to brag about. Obviously, I'm going to lose this fight. I don't stand a chance at this point. Today, I would say I would stand some chance. I'm not going to say I would win. Oh, he says good game. Like, no, I'm not going to be one of those people you can grind out wins on. I'll be a little more stubborn, but not too much longer, really. So yeah, obviously lost that battle. So we're already moving on to the next one. I'm showing this map really quick just because it's attached to the next recording I have to show you the quick and easy way to win I learned from Road Gutch Champ. He taught me this one by using it on me, of course. Well, he was on the blue side. This one's interchangeable. Blue and red can essentially do the exact same plan on each other. And you'll see that when we play each other, we'll basically be doing the exact same thing to each other, and it's always hilarious. So really, you're trying to get boats to A and B very quickly, while of course also defending the town that can get boated by the enemy. You're moving your lights down south. You're pressing blue at the same time, trying to distract their units as much as possible, while you sneak units over to A and B. If you get stuck at B, that unit can easily switch over to A to help that boat out, because sometimes A gets stuck at B, or sorry, A gets stuck at A, of course, and B can come over to capture the town real quick. And once you've pressed forward, you can be sending reinforcements through. Sometimes you'll fail, or sometimes you'll capture a town, but blue will capture it back, and you're usually able to get your army, the rest of your army, in fairly soon after. But after that, I won very quickly. This map, I tell you, is very simple. Very simple. You gotta do two things. You need to press A, and you need to defend the southern corridor, and additionally, just keep the status quo in the north. You do those three things, you will win this map. It's all you gotta do. And you will see me fail to do that over and over and over and over again. Defend that southern corridor. Keep it closed. I successfully pressed A, I believe, 4 times in this match. You'll see each time I get very close to it, but you will see something collapse every single time. If you just do these 3 simple things, you will win. Sometimes B is left open for an easy capture, but don't push your luck there. Really, most reliably, just press A, because blue's town is much closer than red, so you're able to keep him from generating, or getting the generation bonus there, so you already have a very distinct advantage. And you see I press right up to it right away, doing some action in the south. Nothing much is happening north. He is sending extra units south, but that doesn't mean I should necessarily take units out of the north. If he sends units south, well, you'll see I get surrounded in the north there really quickly, or the south, and I'm not clogging up that southern corridor, so he's gathering troops out there. He's going to stop my second invasion, which got very close as well. Let's see here, we're gonna... so many times it looks like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm gonna recover from this. I end up recovering from it, and it reaches a point of absurdity how many times I recover and am still able to press that town again, and almost, get back to troop count and casualty count about similar. Always at a disadvantage, but, recovering reasonably. I do plug the south, but I didn't have reserves in the middle, so they ended up getting attrition. I do another assault, got up right next to it, getting real close, got all my heavies pressing. Oh, but I left the southern corridor open again. That was the 4th assault, and after that, you're gonna see it's just complete chaos after that. It's not pretty. I had so many opportunities to recover, and I totally botched this one. And that's gonna be a very similar story to a lot of these matches, so stick around for more. I think, let's see, is this the last one? This may be it. Yep, this is the last one for today. I'll try to come back with some more in the future. So for now, that's me losing war dots.